Welcome back to this week's reading. This is for the week of July 12th to the 18th. We are in the middle of Mercury retrograde in Cancer. We are going to have a new moon in Cancer this week, and Venus just went into Virgo. And there's also a Mercury Cazimi this week, so we're going to get into all that before I get into the tarot reading. I would say that this week is all about taking care. I don't know about you guys, but this Mercury retrograde has been very textbook Mercury retrograde. It's been very on point. I really feel like I am getting exhausted from swimming in this Cancerian ocean, and I truly cannot wait till this lets up. But there's a lot happening that is contributing to a larger change. I think I mentioned it in my last video that things are changing, and there's a big clearing out that's happening. But also, this is a time to take care of yourself. So, Venus just went into Virgo, and Venus doesn't like being in Virgo. Venus in Virgo it's a lot of work. It also kind of gets a bad rep, which it doesn't need to. Venus in Virgo is hardworking. I like to think of Venus in Virgo as someone who's good at refining and defining and curating. Someone who takes the PowerPoint and makes it look pretty and makes it look presentable and digestible. Someone who does like the fine trim of the painting on the corners, the corner molding, things like that. That is very Venus and Virgo. And in this time, you could look at where Virgo is in your chart. But in this time, it's important to beautify and clean up and refine, define, redefine, and curate that part of your life. For me, it's kind of crazy. This is happening in my 6th house, which is the house of daily work, routines, health. And I've been experiencing some like weird health questions, and definitely that are definitely tied to also my working routines and my daily life routines. And I do really feel like I need to spruce them up and clean them out because they're kind of a mess right now. And with this transit happening while we have the new moon in Cancer, it's like, where in your life do you need to spruce up, redefine, refine, curate, and also nourish yourself? And how can those two things happen? So, going off my example of like my health things, where in my life can I spruce up and clean up my daily routines so that I feel nourished, and also so that they are updated to serve me? So if this is in like your 9th house, for example, a Virgo, and Venus is transiting through, you might want to think about like your learning styles or your spirituality or your routines around gathering information, around publishing, and how that might further enhance your self-study, your career, the information you offer to the world, and the way you learn. So, yeah, this new moon and this transit, it's all about like taking the mirror and holding it up to yourself and doing a little bit of nitpicking, but not being too perfectionist about it. Because I feel like one thing about Venus and Virgo, it can very much so go into the perfectionist realm, and we don't want to get too self sabotagey, so to speak, in that. That being said, the next day is the Mercury Cazimi. And as I mentioned, Mercury is going in retrograde and it's also going through Cancer. So, the information that we're gathering at the beginning of the week with Venus in Virgo and the Cancer new moon, there's going to be some clarity after that of how you want to move forward. And it will be a good time to talk about it or write it out or publish or, define your next path. A Kazemi is like when the sun and a planet align and the powers of that planet are amplified. So that's going to be really important. And this happens, Venus and Virgo has already happened. The new moon is on Wednesday, and the Kazemi is the day after. So I think we might feel some clarity this week. It might feel a little loud at the beginning of the week, but this is a good time to take some time to yourself. Um, in the summer, it's nice to, like, if you have more space and time to just sit and relax and think about these things, I would really recommend that. Um, yeah, it's a really interesting time. I think this time, like mid July, creeping up to the Lionsgate portal, which is 8/8, is a very like not thinning of the veil time, but definitely potent and I don't know, charged. So, and definitely some things to think about. I really feel like from now to September, there's a lot of clearing away, a lot of refining, a lot of stripping back, and we just got to work with it. That being said, I'm going to pull a card. I'm using the Aleister Crowley Toth deck. I just recently came back to this one. It's really beautiful, and um, yeah, I just felt called to come back to this after using Rider Waite for a bit. So let's see what this week has to offer. Oof. A Knight of Swords. Hmm. The Knight of Swords for this week. I feel like this speaks to working with the perspective changes that will come with some of this refining, defining, curating energy, and also defining like our goal with that. So, for example, if we're going to go off of this thing I was talking about, this health thing that I was working with, I am working with. Um, yeah, things have been a little muddy, but it's kind of come to a head where I'm like, okay, there's some health things that I need to work on. So now I'm kind of going to go towards that. Like he's going full force towards that. And um I'm opening my mind to help and new perspectives and new options and things that might work. And it's like I have to change my perspective because the things that are happening right now are not working for me. So you can apply that as you wish. It could be applied to relationships, it could be applied to work, school, learning, um, beauty, self. Think about what's coming to a head. What have you been kind of struggling with? Or is there something that really needs that refining, defining, curating energy? And if you don't know what it is, look and see which house Virgo is in your birth chart. And depending on which house it's in, that might indicate, okay, I need to work towards like financial stuff. So I'm going to go full force, do some learning on financial, like educating yourself, excuse me, educating yourself on finances and asking yourself how you could set up your finances to nourish you, and opening your perspectives. If you have any limiting beliefs around finances, what are those and how can you start to work with them in a way that um, like opens you up and serves you instead of staying in the same small place that you're probably outgrowing, and work with that throughout the week. And then when we come to the Mercury Kazemi on Thursday, it will be a time to start to take action on these new perspectives and communicate them and write them out and really put them in like a one sentence as like, I'm going to start budgeting, or I can make more than $60,000 a year, things like that. When I see the knight archetype too in tarot readings, I really see someone, or see like an energy of someone who, an energy that is a little reckless, a little risk takey, a little, going off the delusion. If you think of a knight is very confident, has to be confident. If you're going to slay the dragon, you have to be confident. And the swords has everything to do with the mind, with communication, with perspectives, with these things. So you have to have the confidence to move forward with these changes that you're going through. And it's hard when we are outgrowing something, but this gives us permission to move forward in that. It's a very fast card. um Very fast card. This clarity might come fast on the Mercury Kazemi, but also that fastness I think can speak to the like the what are you doing? The it asks like, what's the holdup? Why are you procrastinating? You know what you need to be working on. You know what you need to be shaping. You know what you need to be refining, redefining, curating. You know what you need to be cleaning up. So why aren't you doing it? But with the Cancer new moon, it's important to remember that we have to stay nourished. We have to stay um, attentive to ourselves and our needs. And as fast as that is, if we need to just take a second and find our footing, that's also okay, because we are in a retrograde and there's chances are that the first step we might have to come back and do a little more redefining and defining and all of that before moving forward again, and then come back and then move forward again. But It's easier to get from 0 to 1 than 1 to 2. No, it's harder. It's harder to get from 0 to 1 than 1 to 2. So if you can get from 0 to 1, you're already on a level where then you could get 1 to 2. He's also in like a green armor, and the green is the heart chakra. So leading with your heart is very important. And if it doesn't sit right in your heart, then ask yourself if it sits right in your life. Knight of Swords. Interesting. Yeah, that is the reading for this week. This was short. It's 15 minutes. I wish you all the best of luck for the rest of this Mercury retrograde. As I said, at least for me, it's been very retrograde-y, very exhausting. I feel like I'm swimming against the current currently, and I'm so excited for Leo season to kind of zhuzh up this energy. I'm excited for Venus in Libra, even though that's like 6 weeks from now. um, yeah, I I wish you the best of luck, and remember what what can be refined, redefined, or curated in your life to help nourish you. And if you need help figuring that out, you look to see where Virgo is in your birth chart. Um, that being said, I do one-to-one tarot readings. I do birth chart readings, and I recently started doing birth chart write-ups. So if you prefer to have a written report of your birth chart with integrative tools and journal prompts and things like that, I can curate that for you. All of that information will be down below. Otherwise, I will see you next week with another reading.